Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What's up, everybody? We're back with the next part of our tutorial series. I know I'm always sporadic with my uploads, but I'm married with 3 kids living in my house, so it's not always easy to carve out time. But we're back with the next part of this tutorial. And the one thing that I wanted to go ahead and tackle, because it was bothering me, I wanted to go ahead and tackle our camera system, because as you can see, he moves around, and but the camera stays positioned, and I have no way of actually turning the camera because I want it to be like a fixed camera, and the 2 players share the camera when they walk around. So let's go ahead and set this up. So what we're gonna need to create is and I've already done it. I've gotten the habit of doing it before I do it on camera, so I know how I want to do it in my head. So we need to create an actor, and we're gonna call this my underscore. You don't have to do underscore. My camera spline. Enter. So we'll open this, and the only thing we'll have to do here is, let me pull it up in here. Open. The only thing we'll have to do here is just add a spline. Compile and save, and we're pretty much done with that. There's nothing else to do. So now we'll go into our player character, and of course I gotta open it up again. One moment. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll, in our player character, because our player character is going to decide where our camera is, because he already has one attached to him. So we'll have to detach it from the spring arm by just dragging it over that, detaching it, and we don't need this anymore. The spring arm can go. Compile and save. The camera, we're going to change the location from relative to world. And then we'll set all this to 0. All right, back to the event graph. We'll do get all actors of class. And then the class will be my camera spline. And then we'll promote to a variable. Wait, no, not get all actors. My bad. Not get all actors, because that'll make an array. We don't need an array because we're only going to have one camera in the game at a time. So get actor of class. My bad. My camera spline. Promote to variable. We'll call this camera spline reference. Boom, boom, boom. All that set up. All right. So now what we can do is, a lot of people do this. They'll go into event tick. They'll open event tick and they'll call a lot of things from here. Now we can set the camera up to run to event tick, but I don't like to use event tick because it creates a lot of strain on the game. We just have to be mindful. You could run it off of event tick and it'll still work, but you have to be mindful not to hook up too many things off of event tick. Like if you have a character or an enemy that's fighting and he's constantly checking off event tick, then you have players constantly checking off event tick, then the levels checking off event tick. Eventually you're going to have so much buildup that the game is going to start lagging, because it's not going to go to the next tick until it finishes what it does. So I don't want to get in the habit of doing the event tick. But for the camera, I think we'll make an exception for the camera, because I'm already mindful not to put everything there. So we'll go to do is valid, because what we're going to have to do, not that, valid. Where's the execute pen for valid? Is valid. So the reason why we're doing this is because this is going to be a multiplayer game, either 1 player or 2 player. If, let's go to get player controller. So 0 is an array always starts at 0. So 0 is player 1. So if number 1 exists, i.e. player 2, if player 2 exists, as in it's valid, then we're going to run something different. And if it's not valid, we're going to do something different. Because if it's just our character, the only thing we're going to have to worry about where we're at is just the first person character, the first player. If we have 2 people, we're going to need to calculate the point in between the 2 characters and move the camera there so we can show both of them, or try to show both of them to the best of its abilities. We don't want it to just follow one player. And there's different ways you could do this. You could just have the camera set up to one person, and then set it up so where they can't go outside of a certain bounds of each other. So, like I said in the first part of the tutorial series, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, and this is the way I want to do it. So we'll go to is not valid. We'll set up the first player first. Go to is not valid, and we'll do set. We'll need the camera. Camera, set location, set world location and rotation. We don't want to do relative because relative means relative to where the player's at. We want to just do the world. That's why I switched to absolute location. So we're doing the world location, not the relative. So we'll do is not valid. Bring that here. Boom. And then we'll need to get actor location. And we're going to get a reference to ourselves. Get actor location. Then we'll need to get our camera spline reference. We'll need to get a reference to the spline. Where is it at? Get spline. Move this back just a little bit. Then we'll need to find location closest to world location. Boom. So basically, it'll find a point on the spline that's closest to our character right here. And wherever that point is closest at, it'll move the camera there. So it'll try to show the player. So we'll connect this. And we'll change this coordinate space to world, not local, world. And then because we also did the rotation, because we never know, we don't want like if this was just a 2D side-scrolling character, let me minimize or just move this out of the way real quick. If this was a 2D game and it's constantly just doing this, like going to the side, then the rotation wouldn't matter as much because it's only going to do this and go up and down and whatnot. But because we have a 3D game, we're going to actually have points where our camera is like this, and it's going to move, and it might turn with our players to show a different angle. Then we go up. So we're going to get the rotation as well. We definitely want the rotation. At least for now. I'm pretty sure way down the line I'm going to realize we don't actually need the rotation. All right, so find oh wait, hold on, wait a minute. I gotta do it from here. Find rotation closest to world location. Like I said, this might not be necessary. I might go back way down the line and realize we don't need it. So world, camera. We're going to get a reference to our camera. Get world location. And the next thing we're going to have to do is vinterp. Vinterp 2. Constant. We'll do that. Vinterp 2. And basically that means it'll move to that point smoothly. So it won't just snap to the place. We want it to gradually ease its way over. Not just jump there immediately because it'll be jarring to the player. And then we'll get world delta seconds. And the time we should do it, we'll say 1.5. How about that? 1.5. And then we'll add the rotation. And then we'll add this to the location. And compile, save. And then we'll print here. No second player. If it says this is valid for some reason, we'll check it. All right, compile, save. And now we'll need to... Wait, did I do this on gameplay? Yes, I did. Now we'll have to actually add it to our level. So we'll go back here. Content drawer. My BP. My camera. Spline. And I think we need to rotate this. Not that. All right, pick it up off the ground a bit. Let's see. And all you have to do is when you go to these points, just alt click and then drag, and then you'll be able to create a second point in the spline. So alt click and drag. Alt click, drag. Alt click, drag. Alt click drag. Alt click drag. And then we'll just cover the whole area. We could have did a little bit for a test, but we'll cover the whole area. And now, let's test this out. Play. Oh, our rotation is wrong. How is our rotation wrong? Okay, everybody. I figured out what I did wrong. I had to change this coordinate space from world to local. And then that worked. So now, let's go back and test. And there we go. Our camera spline is working. And let's test one more thing while I'm at it. Let's test. When we get to this side, we want to do something different with the camera. We're going to Alt. Actually, we can just do it right here. We'll just go up. Alt and move. And then we'll rotate this one. Now we'll go back to this. Alt move. Alt move. Alt move. Alt move. Now let's test out, see if the rotation will work. So when we get down here, what does it do? It's janky, but it moves. It does rotate our camera. It is janky though. But it does work. I'll fix it up whenever we actually have the full level. So the next thing we need to do is set up for it to work with 2 players. So we'll go back into our main character. Now down here with the second player, we'll need to do something a bit different. We're going to need to get our player controller here, but get controlled. Oh my gosh. Controlled pawn. Get control pawn. Get actor location. Then we'll add the actor location to our main character actor location. And let's do this. And then we'll divide. Oops. Divide. Then we'll convert this to a float. We'll just convert that to a float. Divide by 2. And now we'll do the same thing that we did earlier. And we're not going to type all that back in. We're just going to copy and paste. So all of this can be copied and pasted. And I'm actually lower this to 1.5 to 1. It's a little too slow. Copy. Paste this. So we just don't need this part right here. Don't need that. And we'll enter this into there. Because basically what this is doing is adding the 2 points. Pretty much what it is. Add them together, then divide. And that'll be the middle point of where they're at in the world. And then we'll do the same thing here. Set world location camera. Copy this. Control C. Control V. Oh my gosh. Control V. And then location. Rotation. Then we'll go all the way to location. Or to the valid thing. Compile and save. So we can't test it right away. What we're going to have to do is go to File. Is it File? No, Settings, excuse me. Settings and then Project Settings. Maps and Modes. We're going to need to turn off our split screen because we're not using split screen for 2-player. Turn that off. Close this. Now we'll go to our level blueprint. Let me drag it over. And in our level blueprint, the only thing we're going to have to do is basically add our player to the game. And that's simple. What we're going to do is create local player. And -1, if it's -1, it'll just automatically assign the next available number to the new player controller that we created. So then after that, we're going to do what? There was something else we had to do. What did I do? Oh yeah, okay. I know all that error is coming up because the game was searching for the next character, but the character actually just died. But And the reason why that character just died or destroyed itself is because it fell out of the world. So we'll do get controlled pawn set actor location. Did I do it right? No. Excuse me. Set actor location. Yeah, that's all we need. I don't really care about the rotation for now. And then get player character. Player index 0, basically that's the first player. And then get actor location. And then we'll set it to that. Basically now when it spawns in, it'll move it to where we're at. So now let's test this out. Boom. As you can see, our camera is now trying to find the middle point of the two. As you can see, it's not following just the first person and it's not following the second character, but it's right smack in the middle. And that's all for this tutorial. We won't try to do too much. We'll keep it short and sweet. And I'll try to get more consistent with my uploads. I just try to find a quiet time to really do this without being busy. But inshallah, we'll continue with the series. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions or you have any comments or concerns or suggestions, leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and share if it was beneficial. Assalamualaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.